1811 4000 यही कंज्यूमर हेल्पलाइन।
That's not all. If you thought that the air you breathe and the water you drink are polluted, well, there's more. Even your food is loaded with toxins. The concentrations are sometimes so high that it could cause instant death. They may look all fresh and green, but there's a reason that your veggies look almost too good to eat. They are actually not worth eating at all. An NGO has tested samples of vegetables across the country, and the truth is they are loaded with at least 4 banned chemicals that could even cause cancer.
Brain cancer, kidney and lung damage, neurological problems. The next time you go shopping for your favorite veggies, take a moment to think. Are you giving your family the diseases we just listed out? Is there poison in your shopping bag? If the results of a recent survey are anything to go by, then your plate of vegetables is actually a pesticide platter. Your vegetables are laced with chemicals banned all over the world. This alarming truth came to light after an analysis by a voluntary organization, Consumer Voice.
There is rash and excessive use of insecticide and pesticides in the farm sector, as a result of which the fruits and vegetables that are brought from the farm sector to the wholesale mandis and then to the retail and to our kitchens, they contain pesticides far beyond what can be comfortable for human health.
Consumer Voice picked up 193 samples of 35 different vegetables from markets in Bangalore, Delhi and Kolkata. These were then tested for 106 pesticides. The alarming result, 4 of the 5 banned chemicals were found in these samples. Banned substances like chlordane, endrin and ethyl parathion were found in almost all samples of bitter gourd. Pesticide residue was also recovered from vegetables like cauliflower, tomato, ladyfinger, brinjal, cucumber, cabbage, potatoes and onions. Consumer Voice has now called upon the government to wake up and reform the agriculture sector before it's too late.
We are calling upon Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad, the Honorable Minister of Health, to call upon by giving a direction to the Food Standards and Safety Authority to overhaul the MRR limits laid down under Indian law, under the jurisdiction of his ministry, and bring them in line with international standards, which are the standards laid down by the Codex Alimentarius Commission.
This study definitely exposes a very dangerous situation that an Indian consumer is faced with. It's high time that the authorities take note of this and ensure that the Indian consumer lives a healthy life. Experts also believe that there could be a very strong lobby that must be forcing the authorities to actually overlook such situations. Mohsen Mughal in Delhi for Headlines Today.
In fact, Professor S.R.Khanna, Senior Vice Chairman of Consumer Voice, now joins us and will help us understand what really is the problem over here. Sir, what are the vegetables that one should really avoid in a situation like this? Which were the worst that you tested?
Almost every vegetable has an amount of pesticide residues which one should be concerned with. According to the law, the government may say they are within the Indian limits. But what are the Indian limits? In one particular vegetable, the Indian limits are 750 times the European limits. And these are double standards. When the vegetables are exported, the international standards of pesticide residues are followed, which are hardly 1/10 or 1/5 of the Indian limits. And when they are sold domestically, people feel that they are good enough for the Indian health. I'm sorry, but the fact remains that in the amount of pesticide residues in our vegetables are dangerous for health, for our liver, for our kidneys, for our lungs, and for our health. And it is the job of the Union Ministry of Health to bring our national standards of maximum residue limits of pesticides and insecticides in line with international standards.
Professor Khanna, you all tested vegetable samples from across the country, but were there any specific areas, vegetables collected from some specific region which had higher content than the other parts?
We are not in a position right now, to have traceability of vegetables. You buy something from Sabzi Mandi in Delhi, you don't know where it is coming from because there is no system of traceability. That this particular gobi or this particular karela or this particular ladyfinger, which field it has come from. There is no way of telling. Because in the wholesale, they are all mixed together. And when they reach retail markets, from the same basket at the vegetable seller, you might have the same vegetable coming from 4 different regions. So there is no traceability. Therefore, for us, it's very difficult to trace where it came from. But it is enough to say that the agrarian practice which has been going on for use of pesticides, and farmers require pesticides, let me tell you. It's not that they are doing something that is not required, but what they are doing is rash, and they are doing overuse of this. And not only that, along with the legally allowed pesticides, there are banned pesticides, and we have found at least 4 of them. And I would be, consider it risky to having palak pakoras and karela, because these are the 2 items which got 4 of the banned pesticides.
All right. These are the worst of the lot, really. But Professor Khanna, let's also shift our focus to sweets, because this is the season, this is the festive time when people buy sweets. What about the study that you all have done on canned rasgullas? How bad are they?
Listen, rasgulla is a mouth-watering delicacy in this country. After you've had your lunch or your dinner and you have a rasgulla, it gives you a sweet taste in the mouth and it also makes you feel nice. But what we have done is we have tested packed rasgullas which are sold in tins and retailed on a mass scale under brand names. We have tested 8 brands, and these 8 brands are well known in different parts of the country. They are available widely. You go to a halwai, you can buy a packed tin, or you can buy loose rasgullas. What we have found is that the quantity of rasgullas inside the cans are really not enough, in the sense that if you are buying a half a kilo can, you are getting only 200 grams of rasgullas. Rest is the sheer or the syrup, which you don't eat. So one is the...
Professor Khanna, there is a bitter truth behind these sweets as well. Many thanks, Professor Khanna, for joining us and giving us an insight into what we eat and what we really shouldn't be eating. Time for a short break now. On the